live on the air. I'm Richard Saile.
This is wild.
Hello and welcome back to another episode of Loungetime. I'm your host, Rich Saile. Can you guys believe we are 6 weeks in the NFL season already? We've got a lot to catch up on. Week 6 recaps. Got a couple games that I want to break down. We'll talk a little bit about the Thursday night football game between the Jaguars and the Saints. We'll give some Week 7 picks. And then that will pretty much be this week's episode. So, we're going to start with a game that I actually watched at 1 o'clock between the Seahawks and the Bengals. I got to say this week, got some very interesting side notes on some games I'll get to. This is actually one of them. Geno Smith was okay. He was 27 of 41. 326 yards, 2 picks. He had a really bad red zone interception, which we're going to get into. Kenneth Walker III, 19 carries, 62 yards, and a touchdown. Lockett 6 for 94. DK Metcalf, we're going to say something about him in a second. 4 catches, 69 yards. Offensive line, 4 sacks allowed. The defense actually played well enough to win this game. 17 points allowed, 3 sacks, an interception. You're probably like, Rich, well, they gave up 17. They couldn't get to Burrow. No. They had the one takeaway in the second half. They did. But 17. If you were to tell me going into the game that Joe Burrow and company would be held to 17 points, your offense can get you 20. You have a chance. But Geno Smith stunk it up. He stunk it up. And we'll get to the missed opportunities just in a moment. But Seattle, they had 2 cracks in the red zone. Didn't take any points. Turnover on downs on both possessions. The interception. 2nd and goal from the 18. I don't know what Geno was thinking throwing it into such a tight window there. I think Daxton Hill was the one that came away with the pick, if I'm not mistaken. If it's not him, I apologize. I just finished my notes now, so that way I can get this out before Week 7 starts tomorrow. But that was bad. I mean, and which brings me to, well, let's go over the missed opportunities we just did. INT, turnover on downs. 5 of 12 on 3rd down. That's not going to be, that's mid. Okay, 0 of 2 on 4th down, not good. 1 of 5 in the red zone, 7 penalties. So, when we look at Seattle, their offensive line is still shaky. Okay, they're getting better, but they still have some room to improve. Okay, their defense has taken a step in the right direction, but the 1 for 5 in the red zone will not win you a lot of games. Will not win you many games, especially against good teams like that. It just will not happen. 7 penalties. That needs to come down, which leads me to my next point. DK Metcalf, you probably aren't watching. That's fine. But I'm just going to say this. Grow the fuck up, dude. I mean, you shoving cornerbacks when you're frustrated, when you're not getting the ball, okay, when you're open and Geno doesn't see you. Dude, I'm trying to remember this off the top of my head. You're in your 5th year in the league, bro. Okay? You're a really good wide receiver. Okay? You're in your 5th year. You're acting like a high school kid right now. Okay? That's embarrassing, dude. Why do you got to pick on cornerbacks? Like, why do you got to shove them for no reason? Are they really trash talking you to the point where you can't take it and you're shoving people? Okay, if it's not trash talk, why the hell are you shoving him when the dude didn't even do nothing? He's covering you. That's his job. Okay? Why? What the heck is that? What the heck's all these penalties for? Grow the fuck up, dude. And you have the balls to say to the media, I'm not going to change the way that I play. Remember that, America. Remember what he said. I think the actual video is on X or wherever you find your, videos on, press conferences. But it's there. The fact that he just said, I'm not going to change the way I play, is a huge red flag. Because I think there is something seriously off with DK Metcalf that is a huge red flag where I'm looking at him and I'm saying, I wouldn't be shocked if Seattle moves on from him soon. I mean, Pete Carroll's talking about a penalty board and, they address all that and stuff. And DK Metcalf says on Thursday he's not going to change the way he is, playing-wise. So that means you're basically not learning anything, which is a very huge sign of stubbornness, arrogance, and immaturity. I'm going to say it again. DK Metcalf, grow the fuck up. You are a 5-year veteran in this league, one of the most established wide receivers. You need to grow up. Or guess what? It's going to be a long, rough end to your career if you're not going to grow up fast, bro. Seriously. Grow up. Which brings me to the Bengals. Joe Burrow, 24-35, 185 yards, 2 touchdowns, and interception. Stats-wise, people are going to say, well, that's an average day. Yeah, but if you watch the first half, he was picking Seattle apart. I mean, he had a streak of 10 straight completions, I want to say, or something like that. He couldn't freaking be stopped. He was on fire. And Joe Burrow is slowly working his way back into form. The bye week could not have come at a better time, right? They're 3-3. They're 3-3. They got 2 weeks to kind of get ready for the 49ers when they come off the bye. But the Bengals are slowly coming back into midseason form. And if anybody can come back from a slow start, we've seen what this team's done the past 2 years. I have no doubt Cincinnati's going to be fine. This is a step in the right direction for them. Jamar Chase, 6 catches, 80 yards. Tyler Boyd, a receiving touchdown. Defense. Let me make sure I say his name. Isovias. Forgive me if I butchered his name, but he had his first career touchdown Sunday. Defense. This is the Cincinnati defense I know is a very good unit. I'm not saying they're great, no, but this is the unit I expect them to be. An average defense, which they are, okay? 13 points allowed, okay? 4 sacks, 2 interceptions. This is the defense I know that they have to be. They don't have to be all-time great every week. They need to just do enough to get the job done, and that's exactly what this defense did. 3 of 11 on third down. That's going to need some work. Offensive line, 3 sacks allowed. They're kind of slowly trying to figure out how to protect Burrow. But again, I have no doubts about the Bengals. I think they'll be fine. It's going to be a dogfight in that division. Pittsburgh's got offensive struggles. The Ravens somehow find ways to blow games. And Cleveland, they're better on defense, but their offense does not look shaky. I'm not worried about the Bengals right now. In fact, if you were to ask me the most confident team I trust in the AFC North right now, it'd be Cincinnati. It'd be Cincinnati right now. So, big win for the Bengals, 3-3. Seattle comes off their bye with a loss, and yeah, they got, a game against Arizona, which I'll mention, when we get to picks. 49ers-Browns. Brock Purdy lost his first game as a starter. 5 games this year. 2 playoff games last year that he fully played. And the stretch last season, so it's got to be, 12, maybe 13 games as a starter? and this is the first one he's lost playing the entirety of the game. It's pretty impressive. I am going to be honest with you guys. If you were to tell me that this team were to lose Deebo Samuel, George Kittle, and lose Christian McCaffrey for a great chunk of the game, and Trent Williams, an all-pro left tackle, you know what I would have said? Browns win by more than 2. Browns win probably almost outright. The fact that the 49ers only lost by 2, and when we go down the missed opportunities for them, the only 2 things that got in their way were missed field goals by a rookie kicker, Jake Moody. The only thing that stopped him was a missed field goal. It's tough to win on the road, okay? This team was the hottest team in football dating back to last season, continuing everything they had into this season. If anything, I'm going to shock everybody. I know I said in the beginning of the year I don't believe in moral victories. I don't. But that's my team. That's how I view them. For the 49ers, it's not a great loss, but again, this is sometimes maybe where a loss is a good thing. Where they're like, okay, we didn't move the ball really that well against Cleveland. We lost our top 3 playmakers, our all-star Pro Bowl, all-pro left tackle, and came down to losing 2 points. 1 field goal was the difference in that game, and you had 2 missed field goals in that game. Jordan Mason had a rushing touchdown. Ayuk was the leading receiver, 4 catches, 76 yards. McCaffrey had a receiving touchdown before he left the game. The defense did its job. 19 points allowed, 2 interceptions. We talked about the missed field goals. 3 of 12 on third down. It was just not a great day for them. 12 penalties for 105 yards. 2 of 3 in the red zone. Ooh. Okay. I am not doubting Kyle Shanahan getting these mistakes right. I'm not doubting him there. In fact, I still think the Niners are still the team to beat in the NFC and in the league. Everybody now has a loss. There's no more unbeatens. But if you were to tell me right now, who do you still have number 1? It's the 49ers still. Because that defense did everything they did to keep them in the game. Despite P.J. Walker almost selling. Okay. Brock Purdy was playing well up until Sunday. He's going to have a couple of those down games. Everybody has them though. But to be down 2 and almost beat the Browns and literally just need 1 field goal to go your way shows me a lot about this team. The Niners' biggest thing is getting to the playoffs healthy. That's it. They just want to get to the playoffs healthy and make their Super Bowl run. They're definitely capable of doing that. But again, they had a lot of wins riding up to this point. And, I picked them to win in a blowout. I did. But Cleveland's defense, we'll get to in a second, they're legit. They're much better than what we were talking about them last year on. Okay? But the 49ers, not worried. It happens. I always say, there's always that game where you go, what the heck happened? How did we lose that one? Maybe it's the 49ers game that happened to. It's so hard to win on the road. They almost beat them considering all the circumstances. It's still impressive. Kyle Shanahan will have these guys ready. They'll be fine. And Monday night, they got Minnesota. They've got their own problems. I expect them to be fine, and I think they'll bounce back just no problem. But this is a good Cleveland defense, which will bring. Let's talk about the Browns. P.J. Walker, 18 of 34, 192 yards, 2 interceptions. He didn't play well. Let's put it that way. Jerome Ford, 17 carries, 84 yards. Cooper, 4 catches, 108 yards. The Cleveland defense is legit. They're playing better. I think they're the number 1 defense in terms of yards allowed. But here's the thing. Yards don't win you games. Points, turnovers, those matter. But yards don't carry a lot of weight. You know what I mean? They don't carry a lot of weight. Okay? So it's kind of like, yeah, they're better because last year, man, they couldn't stop anything. This year, complete 180. Credit Jim Schwartz. He's really done a good job with this Cleveland defense. I think Myles Garrett, has, really benefited playing more on the edge than inside, right? But he's shown the ability. He could play inside. He could play outside. This is a better defense than what they were last year. Last year, they were horrible. They couldn't stop anything. This defense is what a 180 from what they were last year, really. And credit Jim Schwartz. He's a really good defensive coordinator. Great job for them getting this defense back on track. The problem now is their offense. Because Nick Chubb's out. He was their bell cow. Deshaun Watson is not the Deshaun Watson of the old Houston Texan days. I think it's because he sat out almost 2 years and he's not the same, clearly. He sat out, 2.5 years, I think. 2021. Really, almost 2 years he sat out. Played, 6 games last year? I mean, it was all right. But again, the Browns' offense is going to be their problem. Defensively, they're better. Their offense needs to pick it up, though, if this team is expecting to be a playoff team. Okay? Now, INT missed field goal. They got bailed. Okay? The defense did get 3 sacks and an interception, along with the 17 points allowed they got. Okay? 3 of 13 on third down is not going to win you games if you keep going that bad on third down. Okay? 13 penalties for 119 yards and 2 turnovers. I'm going to say that again. 13 penalties for 119 yards and 2 turnovers. The Browns were lucky to win this game. They were absolutely lucky to win this game. Which, again, maybe it's the one win that they didn't think, how the heck did we win that game? Probably is that. But, again, they're better defensively, but I don't know if this team has what it's going to take to make a playoff run if their offense can't play well. Losing Nick Chubb and Deshaun Watson not being what he is what's hurting this football team right now. Everything else has been pretty solid for the most part. Eagles-Jets. I'm going to take a bite of an M&M cookie before we go to this game. But Jalen Hurts, that was bad, bro. That was your probably worst game you played in the NFL by far. Okay, I was watching Detroit, Tampa Bay. Flipped to see the end of New England, Vegas. I know I said I wasn't gonna watch. I had to see because I was checking the box score on my phone just to see how we were doing. Don't even get me started with that game. We don't talk about teams that are horrible. But Jalen Hurts played his worst game as a pro. Without question. Okay? He played absolutely horrible. 28 of 45, 280 yards, touchdown, a rushing touchdown, 3 interceptions. Okay? A.J. Brown, 7 catches, 131 yards. DeAndre Swift had a receiving touchdown. Defense gave up 20. They got 5 sacks, 10 quarterback hits. Okay? They held Zach Wilson in check. 20 points. You should win. Really? They held him to 13. So, they did their job. What happened to the offense? Okay? Well, let's walk through the missed opportunities. Interception in Jets territory to start the missed opportunities off. They had a fumble. Another interception that was bad in the fourth quarter to start. The last pick. Jalen, it's third down. Okay? You're up. You're up 1. You're up 1. What? Why are you throwing? Run the ball. Make them burn timeouts. If they've got none, you let the clock run. What are you doing? No. Like, what? I don't get it. Turnover on downs, obviously, to end the game. 7 of 14 on third downs, great. 4 turnovers, 2 of 3 in the red zone. You're not winning games turning the ball over 4 times. That's not going to happen. Now, the Eagles' offensive line, that's probably the best front they're going to see all season. Besides the Niners, probably. But as far as like a stacked front line, the Jets are among the tops that they'll verse. Dallas they'll verse twice a year. The Niners they'll verse. Okay. But that offense, the fact you guys only scored 14 points is very alarming. Is very alarming. Now, I know people said, well, the Eagles don't look right through 5 games and now 6. This is a very huge concern. Here's where I won't say it's a concern yet. One, I've said this before. Every great quarterback has a bad game here and there. It happens. Okay, now am I saying Jalen Hurts is an all-time great? No. But right now he's really good. It's just, again, they're 5-1. Okay? Same record as the Chiefs. Okay? They loaded up again this offseason. All right? But everybody has them circled as basically their playoff game, Super Bowl caliber test. So they're getting everybody's best. Just like the Chiefs are. Okay? It is so hard to get up every single week to get motivated to play somebody. It's so hard. Some teams you take light. But you're probably going to say, well, they've played them close in all these games. They haven't won convincingly. I would call Tampa kind of convincingly. It just Tampa made the score look closer than it was, but it really wasn't that close. Okay? But, again, they will be fine. Again, when you lose both your offensive coordinator and your defensive coordinator, it is so hard to be able to pick up right where you left off. It doesn't happen that way. And that's why this is a big game Sunday night for them. Because if they ever drop 2 straight, then the noise is going to be, okay, there's something seriously going on there. Okay? But if they beat Miami, it doesn't not mean something, but it just shows, all right, they didn't play well. But Nick Sirianni, I think he mentioned that in week 2, these are the kind of games you like when you win, but you still know that you're not quite at your best and there's a lot of correctable issues. Well, now there's a loss and some correctable issues. So maybe another case of maybe this is a good thing that this loss happened so that way they can kind of go, okay, we still are leading the NFC East. The Niners also lost, so we're still among the top in the NFC. We just now have to take care of business. And that's all they're going to do. They're going to be fine. It's just getting through the year healthy and making sure they're in a rhythm. I have no doubt in my mind they will be fine. And they'll be a playoff team, without question. But they've got to clean up their sloppiness. And they got to look more convincing, which I'm confident they will. It's just, it's hard to get up for these teams every single week. I mean, Washington played them tough, division rival. New England opening up when Tom Brady's jersey's getting retired, okay? The Vikings on Thursday night coming off a bad loss. Cannot go 0-2. Although that game was not as close either as it should have been. Okay? Washington division rival ruined their undefeated season last year. Okay? The Rams played them pretty tough in week 5, the week before. Okay? It happens. All right? Which brings me to the Jets. Zach Wilson, let's call it like it is. 19 of 33, 186 yards. He's all right. Nothing amazing. Just all right. Breece Hall had a rushing touchdown. Garrett Wilson, 8 catches, 90 yards. Offensive line for them is still brutal. Okay. Defense, they're legit. And this is without Sauce Gardner and DJ Reed. Their top 2 cornerbacks, yet they still beat the Eagles. That's what's mind-blowing. That's really what's mind-blowing. 14 points allowed, fumble recovery, 2 sacks, 3 interceptions. They can take away the ball, they can get pressure on the quarterback, and they can keep you out of the end zone. They're a really good defense. They'll be a top 10 defense in the categories when it's all said and done. But it is so hard to have that defense win you games. I mean, this is not the 80s and the early 2000s where there, you know, if you had an all-time great defense, you could do it. There were some rules back then that also helped too, but with the way the game has evolved on offense and the rules now, it's so hard to win games with a defense being that great and, you know, hoping that Zach Wilson plays a Trent Dilfer role when he's getting, like, not incrementally better, because I think that's a little bit of reach. Slowly, you know, trending upward, but nothing where I'm like, okay, yeah, he's completely changed. No. He's all right, but he's not, like, insane, okay? 2 of 11 on third down, awful. 1 of 4 in the red zone, not good. 9 penalties for 68 yards. You tell me if that's good. Because I'll tell you one thing. It's not. It's bad enough I've got to hear Jet fans go crazy after 3-3 when they should literally be in a way worse record spot, but they aren't. And the fact that I have to sit up here now and hear that the Jets are better than my own team now is really, really pathetic. Not for them, but just I can't even go down this road today. I can't. I'm not doing it today. I'm not doing it today. Giants and the Bills. 2 quick thoughts on this game before we dive right into it. I sweated this game in Survivor, okay? And I didn't watch this game up until the 4th quarter. Why didn't you watch the game, Rich? You had him for Survivor. I did. I really thought they would blow out the Giants. I really, really did. Just because they lost in London so bad to the Jaguars. But I was wrong. I watched the 4th quarter just because I had a hope my Survivor poll stayed alive. The fact that I had 2 Giant fans rooting and saying, you know, oh, let's ruin Rich's Survivor poll. I don't want to be out 6 weeks in. I don't. I'd like to be in throughout the whole year and prove, you know what, I'm not that bad. But the fact that they were rooting for me to get the hell out of Survivor pool, bro. See, if they had their Survivor pool, they want me to root with them. But when it's their team, nah, I gotta go against you. Okay. All right. But which brings me to my next take. I'm gonna say it. Tyrod Taylor should be the Giants' starting quarterback for the remainder of this season. I don't think Daniel Jones is that good. I don't think he should have been paid $40 million. I understood why the Giants had to pay him. But the fact is that Daniel Jones had 1 magic carpet ride year, and he's turned right back into the same dude that he is. A guy that could barely move the football, had 1 good quarter this year, 1 good half this season against the Cardinals, and that's it. Other than that, you've been pretty shitty. Now, I know he was hurt against the Bills, but Tyrod Taylor went into Buffalo, and I'll get more about him in a second because there's a bigger grand scheme of things I want to say with Tyrod Taylor. But Daniel Jones clearly isn't that good of a quarterback, and he's clearly, in my mind, I don't think he fits with what Daboll wants to. I think Tyrod Taylor looks and fits better with the Giants offense. I mean, he pushed the Bills on the brink of the Bills losing this game. Pushed them to the brink. Okay? We'll get into the goal line debacles in a bit, okay? But Tyrod Taylor should be the Giants' starting quarterback for the remainder of the season. Daniel Jones is not good, okay? I got friends that are fans of him. I get it, but dude, he's not the franchise. He's not. If you don't believe that, I don't know what really to tell you, other than you just will never get it. Okay, just like I said to people that have been getting mad at me for 3 years now, really 4, that the game's passed by Bill Belichick. All I'm gonna say is, you know what? Let the results say what they are. And people are gonna be like, well, he had one good magic carpet right here. You won a playoff game, Daniel Jones. Okay, but throw that year out for 1 minute. What did he do before that? And what has he done since? You tell me. Because you know what he reminds me of? He reminds me of Baker Mayfield. The same career numbers, stats. Shout out my cousin Nicky. He sent me that tweet in the beginning of the offseason. But they're very similar. Except look at Baker Mayfield in Tampa. So Daniel Jones is just not the future. He's not the guy. Okay? Tyrod Taylor should be your starting quarterback for the remainder of the year. Okay? Let's speak about Tyrod Taylor for a minute. 24-36, 200 yards. He didn't throw the ball for a touchdown, but he didn't make costing decisions, right? So that right there is step one. Okay? Number 2, Tyrod Taylor has not been a bad quarterback when he started. He's not been, okay? And the reason I say this is because remember when he got to be the Bills starting quarterback? And he was doing pretty good for them. You know how I know? Because I used to watch him twice in my own division. He used to give us fits. Not like insane fits, but he used to, be tough to, keep in the pocket. He was annoying to go up against. He really was. But he never was a shit quarterback. But he was never like over the top amazing. But he was good enough to get the job done. He's good enough to win games. I think he's good enough to be a starter compared to some of these other guys I'm seeing. I'm surprised that some of these teams are going, yeah, our starting quarterback's better than him. What? Okay. Tyrod Taylor took the Bills to the playoffs in Sean McDermott's first year. Okay? He was the Ravens' backup to Joe Flacco for a couple years. I know Joe Flacco wasn't that great either, but he learned how to play very well. He went to Cleveland before the fans were chanting Baker Mayfield. He really played for 2 games, and then the fans, screamed for Baker Mayfield to play. I would have given Tyrod Taylor a little bit more time, but the fans were so anxious because they wanted to get Baker Mayfield out there to see what they had. Then he goes to the Chargers, and the freaking doctor put, I don't remember the whole story, but I know they tried to put, a painkiller or something, in his rib. I don't know if this is an accurate story, but I know that it's, they tried to inject something with, the ribs, and then his ribs started to hurt, and then Justin Herbert got the start. And look at Justin Herbert now. He's just been unlucky. But Tyrod Taylor is a starting caliber quarterback in this league. That's just, what I think. And I think he fits better with the Giants. I think, he gives the Giants a better shot to make a little, be competitive more than Daniel Jones does. Saquon Barkley, 24 carries, 93 yards. Darius Slayton, 4 catches, 69 yards. Wan'Dale Robinson, 8 for 62. Offensive line, 3 sacks allowed. They're still not very good. Although Andrew Thomas is out. He was their second-team All-Pro tackle last year. Defense did their job. 14 points allowed. Fumble recovery. Didn't get pressure on Josh Allen. With 1 quarterback hit and 0 sacks, won't get it done. Interception. But here's really what happened, okay? And I didn't even get to the 2 goal line debacles. Fumble, missed field goal, INT, missed field goal. let me talk about the goal line stops for a second. First of all, the last play of the half, the first half, why are you running from the 1 yard line if you have no timeouts? Why? You have 11 seconds. I mean, you can't pass up points. They're there. They're staring right a few inches away. And you run the ball and waste the clock. And Dayball is yelling at Tyrod Taylor. Like, and I didn't watch the game, but I'm watching it going, why are you running with 11 seconds? You throw the ball out of bounds, okay, or in the back of the end zone. Stops the clock. You kick a field goal. You got the lead at half against a team that then they're feeling the pressure at home going, oh crap, they're playing with nothing to lose. I just don't get it. Like, why have we... Why? Now, I don't know if that was Dayball or Mike Kafka that called the play or who. That is inexcusable. Tyrod Taylor's not to blame for that. He's the backup quarterback. You guys are supposed to be the guys setting him up with plays that he's comfortable with. Why are you running with 11 seconds knowing you have no timeouts? I mean, come on, guys. I mean, it's not hard to see that points are right there. You just don't know if you're going to get 6 or 3. I just don't get it. I really, really don't understand why you don't. I don't get it, man. I just don't get it. I don't get why they're hesitant to take 3. Okay? The second one. They got a PI call down at the 1 yard line. Okay? And they throw incomplete. No PI call. In a way, I'm kind of glad because that would have ruined my survivor pool. Straight up. Okay? But I just, you know, I don't at all understand why. I don't understand at all why they just did that. I just don't know why they didn't kick a field goal when it was there. I don't know why. I can't explain it. But that's what happens when you don't take points when they're there. Okay? 10 of 19 on third down is great. Over 5 in the red zone, you're not going to win games like that. You're not going to win any game if you go over 5. Not going to happen. 9 penalties, nope. It won't work. Just won't work. Josh Allen played all right. Nothing amazing. Nothing amazing. 19 of 30, 169 yards, 2 touchdowns, an interception. James Cook, 14 carries, 71 yards. Diggs, 10 catches, 100 yards. Morris and Deontay Hardy with a touchdown each. And the defense gave up 6 points, 3 sacks. That works. Okay. 6 of 12 on third down. That's actually really good. 7 penalties, 2 turnovers. The Bills absolutely have the team to not only get to the Super Bowl, but win it. The problem with them is 1 week they look really good and look like world beaters. Another week they just look like they're not into it. They look like they're taking a team lightly. Oh yeah, we'll blow them out. And they just hang around and they don't look like they're into the game mentally. Or like they don't look focused against certain teams where you go, guys, you're playing this team, right? That's what the Bills are to me. And it's so hard to figure them out. But that's the only way I feel like that this makes sense. And I really wonder. And I know Sean McDermott got some heat this offseason for how he handled the Stephon Diggs thing. I'm just really curious how this is going to go if Stephon Diggs doesn't get the ball in playoff games because he's clearly getting mad, when he doesn't get targets because he's trying to be the guy and stuff, which I get. He's a really good receiver. But if you can't get up consistently for these teams, if you want us to take you seriously, you should be beating up on the bad teams and be beating the good teams fairly, to your own advantage. You can't just show your world beaters one week and then take it and then look flat the next week. It doesn't work that way. You have to be a team that if we're going to consider you Super Bowl favorites, if we're going to consider you the team to beat in the AFC, then we need to see it from, consistently. And that's the thing that makes it so hard for me to think the Bills can do it. Right now, I'm looking at the AFC. I'm looking at Miami, who looks really good. Even though I have questions about Tua beating elite teams. I think the Chiefs are not as good as people think they are, but they're still 5-1. They've got the experience to do that. Jacksonville's coming along slowly. Okay? The North, Cincinnati, I think, will be okay. They'll be in the conversation. Buffalo will, of course, be there. That's 5 teams. You've got 2 more teams that will get things right. But the Bills, if they don't win the division, they're going to have to go on the road and play somebody. And you already lost to Jacksonville. Kansas City has your number in the playoffs. Cincinnati beat you last year. And, you don't want to go into Miami, with the Heat. You don't want to. Okay? Even though you beat Miami last year in the playoffs. You don't want that. The Bills need to take these teams seriously. They will destroy the New England Patriots this Sunday. I'm guaranteeing it. Okay? But this is the one thing the Bills I feel like that we need to say it. They don't look like, they feel like they can take every team lightly because they're so stacked top to bottom. It almost just looks like they're flat some games and then they look like world beaters another week. You can never figure them out. But it needs to be said. Cowboys-Chargers. Dak Prescott, 21-30. 272 yards, a touchdown, a rushing touchdown. CeeDee Lamb, 7 catches, 117 yards. Cooks had a receiving touchdown. Tony Pollard, 6 catches, 80 yards. Offensive line with 5 sacks is brutal. Okay? Defense held the Chargers to 17, got 1 sack, a pick. I knew the Cowboys defense was going to be fine because Kellen Moore will find ways to just completely show this is what I'm going to do and I know it's going to work without making any serious adjustments. Worked just fine. To Dallas' hands. McCarthy knew him. Defense knew him. I mean, Dan Quinn literally practiced against his offense for 2 seasons. They knew they were going to throw the ball all over the lot. That's why Gilmore got the pick. That's why that they knew to keep him in check. Oh, yeah, and I told you Brandon Saile was going to find a way to botch the game, didn't I? He did it again. But the Cowboys' defense will be fine. The problem will come down to, can Dak Prescott beat the really good to elite football teams? I don't think he can beat the elite football teams in the playoffs. I don't think if they play the Niners, they could beat the Niners. I don't think they could beat the Lions. I don't think they could beat the Eagles currently. I don't think they are going to beat any of those big 3 at the moment. Because those 3 teams in the NFC right now, they are all really, really scary in their own way. Okay? Turnover on downs was a low missed opportunity. 5 of 13 on 3rd down. It's all right. 2 of 4 in the red zone could be better. 11 penalties for 85 yards. Dallas, the one thing lacking is discipline when you need to keep the game in control. You commit penalties, you extend drives, you give them new life, and mostly of these good teams will take advantage of it. You have to learn to not commit these dumb penalties. I don't know if it's coaching. I don't know if it's scouting department just because they see a player with high upside, but they can't work with that player in terms of just keeping them in discipline. I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's player development. I don't know what it is. But it just feels like it's always the same thing that happens with the Cowboys. Okay? Which brings me to the Chargers. Justin Herbert, 22 of 37, 227 yards, 2 touchdowns, and an interception. Now, people are saying, oh, there's something missing with Justin Herbert. Because he's got the arm strength, he's got mobility, he's got all the good things you want from a quarterback. Are we really going to say that just yet? Because did we forget who he's got as a head coach? Now, I don't know what the Chargers are going to do after this offseason. There is absolutely no way you can keep Brandon Staley. You had a chance to go get Sean Payton. Can you imagine Sean Payton and Justin Herbert right now with these receivers? Can you imagine? Oh my God. They'd be right there with the Chiefs for the best team in the AFC West. They would absolutely be right there. But I'm not ready to do that yet. The Chargers could have Brian Daboll. They took Brandon Staley. I try to like this team. They have all the guys from a roster standpoint that can make a deep run, but there's just always something that just rears its ugly head. And Brandon Staley just finds ways to lose games, and it feels like he's going to be done soon. You know, he just finds ways to feel like, yeah, let me try and get creative with this. No, you're finding ways to botch games. Keenan Allen, 7 catches, 85 yards, touchdown. Palmer, 4 catches, 60 yards. Defense, 5 sacks, 20 points allowed, fumble recovery. They did enough to win the game. Okay? Just the offense sold. They couldn't really do anything. Turnover on downs, interception. Told you Brandon Staley would give perhaps somebody a game. He did it for the Cowboys. 5 of 14 on third down. 2 of 4 in the red zone, 9 penalties. I can't pick the Chargers because I just don't trust Brandon Staley. But if these guys stay healthy, talent-wise, yeah, they could make a run. But I can't trust Staley because Brandon Staley showed it in Jacksonville last year. He knows how to blow games. I just can't do it no more. I just cannot handle him no more because I'm done with all of it. I'm really fed up with it, dude. You know? The Chargers need to seriously go get somebody to, help this team elevate. Because they're not going anywhere because this team should be so much better than what they are now. They should be. All right, let's go into the Week 7 picks because I want to get this episode out for you guys by before tomorrow's games. So we're going to start with the... Oh, wait. You know what? Let me talk about Jacksonville, New Orleans. Sorry, guys. Let me talk about Jacksonville, New Orleans, then we'll get to the picks. Trevor Lawrence did pretty good. Didn't really turn the ball over. Etienne had 2 rushing touchdowns. That have been fantasy. He's been really good for me. Christian Kirk had the game-winning touchdown. The Jaguars, though, they have those little young mistakes from a young team that they're still learning how to do. The punt return thing. They had the fumble, which hurt. And they got to just learn how to clean those up. I mean, their defense slowly getting better. I didn't like the way they looked in the second half. I thought that was alarming. And, Christian Kirk caught the game-winning touchdown. And, the Jags, they've won 4 straight. They're going to be fine. Trevor Lawrence will get better. Calvin Ridley looks like, he's their number one. But again, I think the Jaguars are making some quiet noise in that AFC because everybody's talking about Kansas City, Miami, Buffalo. Jacksonville's won 4 straight quietly since 1-2. So they're fine with, kind of being under the radar. They were under the radar last year. Won a playoff game at home and played Kansas City really tough in Arrowhead until the turnovers started to rear its ugly head. All right? But I think the Jags, there's some young things they got to work on. That defense is slowly getting there. Did not like the way the second half was for them. And, they will be fine. They just got to stop doing the turnovers. They've got to just get the little things cleaned up. And this team will be really, really good come December and January. I'm calling it. Which brings me to the Saints. Taysom Hill had their 1 rushing touchdown. And Derek Carr has just been all right. There is a reason why I cannot take this team serious. Dennis Allen is just more of a coordinator than he is as a head coach. He's just all right. Alvin Kamara, he's not quite the Alvin Kamara from 5 years ago. He's just not. Okay? Michael Thomas was okay. Olave's a stud. Okay? Shaheed is their gadget guy that makes plays. The Saints, while defensively they're really good, but offensively they're struggling to get drives extended, get points on the board. Although they got some against Jacksonville late in the game. But when they had to tie the game, they couldn't convert. They could not make the big plays when they were there. And Derek Carr's just all right. He had good receivers over there, a good defense, and they're just okay now. And that's why it's so hard to take the Saints seriously. Because they're just okay. They're just okay. So, all right, let me get into the Week 7 picks. That way you guys can have these picks out for tomorrow. Starting off with the Bills and the Patriots. Good. Get this game out of the way. I need this team away. They aggravate me. Josh Allen will be fine. I'm not worried about it. New England, please. They can't score. Just tank for Caleb Williams already. Well, I don't even know if I want Caleb Williams because now he wants part ownership to the team he gets drafted to. This is not the day to talk about this, bro. But they just... This kid, I mean, he's immensely talented. Who the fuck does he think he is? I'm not sure. I don't know what we want to do. I just want to get us a good draft pick. That way I can see what this team's starting to build towards because we need a lot on offense. We don't have any chance against the Bills. Blowout City incoming. Bills 30, New England 6. Make that quick. Raiders and Chicago Bears. Jimmy Garoppolo, believe is out for the Raiders. Justin Fields, I know, is out for the Bears. I have him in fantasy. He's out. I'm going to go with the Raiders reluctantly because I feel like this is a game they have to win. Okay? It's right there for you to make a semi-run where people can go, all right, oh, look what they're doing. Even though I don't think they're that good. I don't. Give me the Raiders 23-17 over the Bears. I think they hold on and they win this game. And they go to 4-3. Colts-Browns. I kind of think the wrong team's favored here. I don't know if Deshaun Watson's going to play one. P.J. Walker didn't look great last week. The Colts have been pretty good. I know Jacksonville was really good too. Do we really blame the Colts, though, for getting not so close with Jacksonville? I don't. Everybody else, they played very, very well. And I think they beat the Browns at home. I think the wrong team's favored. The Colts should be favored. I think even though Minshew is okay, he's not a terrible backup. I got the Colts 20-17 over the Browns. Although the Browns defense may be good, I think the Colts are going to find a way to move the ball on them with Jonathan Taylor, Zach Moss. I think the Colts will be just fine. Colts 20, the Browns 17. Giants and Washington Commanders. I don't know if Daniel Jones is out or if he's playing. I have not been heard that. But Sam Howell has not played terrible so far. But this game just smells like the Giants can win this game. If it was in Washington, I'd be taking the Commanders. I just think in Giants, they're 1-5. Washington surely could definitely be better. But I'm going to go with the Giants to win this game. I think that Daboll and company can get enough to win this game at home, and I think they can go to 2-5 and start their own little mini run. Even though I don't think they're that great either. So, give me the Giants 19, the Washington Commanders 16. Bucks Falcons. Desmond Ridder, not sold. Absolutely not sold. Baker Mayfield, I think he does enough. That Tampa defense, they get after Desmond Ridder, force him to make a couple turnovers. I like Tampa Bay 24-16 over Atlanta. Lions-Ravens, the 1 o'clock game I will be watching tomorrow. Detroit's scary, man. They are playing really, really good football right now. Defense is clicking. The offense without Montgomery, Jahmyr Gibbs is coming back tomorrow. The receivers that can make plays. Jared Goff has been to a Super Bowl before. He's been in big stage playoff games. Okay, and the Ravens, I can't trust Lamar Jackson. I can't trust John Harbaugh because when they have a lead, they blow it. And I'm sorry. That needs to be addressed. I understand Harbaugh's won a Super Bowl, but he needs to be called out for blowing leads. I think they're going to have another similar situation. Give me the Lions 28, the Ravens 23. I think the Lions are really, really good, and I think they're a team right now that nobody wants to play. 13-3 in their last 16 games, going back to last year. That is astounding. Lions 28, Ravens 23. Rams Steelers. I know Pittsburgh's getting TJ Watt back, but I'm getting a little weary of Pittsburgh and that defense and how they're going to cover Cooper Kupp and Puka Nacua. I don't know how they're going to do it. They have no running game, which means they're going to be throwing it all over the lot. The Steelers can definitely get pressure on Stafford, and I could see them winning this game. But I don't know how they guard Cooper Kupp, how they guard Nacua. I don't know how they do it. Give me the Rams 27, the Steelers 21. Seahawks Cardinals. The best pick of the weekend for me. I have Seattle in survivor pools. I need them to win. I don't want to be out 7 weeks. I don't want that. I want to at least make it as far as I can this year, and I'm hoping it's to the end of the year. But Seattle, please don't let me down. DK Metcalf, grow the fuck up. Seahawks 31, Cardinals 13. Broncos Packers. I don't know why people think Jordan Love is still good. I don't know why. He's not that good. Okay? Russell Wilson, for the most part, people want him out in Denver already. But I think Denver, despite everybody being available except for Surtain, I think they can get enough game plan to stop Jordan Love, and I think the Packers' offense is putrid. I don't think they're that good. And I know Denver's defense is in trouble, but it's going to come down to, can Denver's offense convert with Green Bay's defense? I don't know if they can, but is Jordan Love going to convert, or is that Bronco defense going to finally get stops? I trust Denver to win at home. Give me Denver 17, the Packers 13. Chiefs-Chargers, the 4 o'clock game I will be watching. High-scoring game. I think it'll be entertaining between Mahomes and Herbert. I just think Brandon Staley's just going to find ways to botch the game. And I'm going with Kansas City to win 31-28 over the Chargers because now with J.C. Jackson gone, who do they have to cover for these receivers? Michael Davis, okay. Asante Samuel Jr., good corner. I don't know if they're going to have an answer for Kelsey. I don't know if they're going to have an answer to stop Mahomes because last year they gave up 27 and they gave up 31. I don't know if that's going to work. I think the Chiefs still get 31. Chargers get 28. High-scoring game of the weekend. And I think that it'll be good, but I don't see how the Chargers can go into Arrowhead and beat them and, keep their season alive. Miami Dolphins, Philadelphia Eagles. This is another great Sunday night game, man. I can't wait to watch this. I don't think Tua is that good against elite teams. And I think Philadelphia's an elite team. I think Philadelphia is going to get after them with their front four. I think that their back end is going to be in for a tough challenge guarding Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle. I just think the Eagles up front, they're going to bounce back. I think that offense is going to give Vic Fangio some problems on defense. But Vic Fangio was a defensive assistant on the Eagles last year. It should be closer than the experts think they will be. I think the Eagles win 28-24 over Miami. I think this is another great Sunday night game. I just think I trust Jalen Hurts way more than Tua against the elite teams in the National Football League. Give me the Eagles 28-24 over Miami. Niners-Vikings. Deebo Samuel's out for Monday night, okay? Sneaky. This line smells a little bit. If it was under 6, I would take the Vikings plus the points. No, I meant if it was over 7.5, I would take the Vikings. I'm sorry. If it was under, I would take the Niners. Just because I think that Deebo being out, I think Kyle Shanahan's going to have his guys ready. I think Minnesota's defense is terrible. Okay? They're thinking about getting rid of everybody. Danielle Hunter's on the trade block name. Harrison Smith's good, but I don't think they're putting him up on trade block. The Vikings can't stop anything on defense. I think the Niners, if they can get McCaffrey back, if they can get Kittle back, I think they'll do enough just to get by this game and hold on and cover. I wouldn't be surprised if it's under the total that I have. But I'm going to go with the Niners 27, the Vikings 20. All right, so those are my Week 7 picks. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Make sure you guys hit that subscribe button. Make sure you guys hit that notification bell so that way you guys can get all the latest updates you want for the 2023 NFL season. We will be here each week kind of recapping the week before, getting all the updates you guys need for this upcoming season. Make sure you guys also follow us on @LoungeTimePod on X. That's kind of where we're building another community where fans interact, talk about the games, just talk about anything, while you're watching the games where you go, hey, Rich, you might want to talk about this. I'll listen. Doesn't mean it'll be on the show, but I'll listen. So, guys, thank you so much for tuning in to Loungetime. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. I'll see you guys next week on the next episode of Loungetime. Have a great weekend, everybody.